stay like this. I'm sure all of you have your questions or your contributions. We'll come around again and again and hammer this home as much as we can. I thank you so much.
Well, thank you so very much, Mr. Fadera, for that nice and then precise introduction. Madam Aminjai, now the floor is yours. Now, looking at what the permanent secretary said, you know, the overall objective is to attract, appoint, and then retain skillful and qualified civil servants, you know, in the system. That's why you're coming up with a revolving scheme. Can we now look at the product itself? What are you offering? What are you putting on the table?
We have 3 products, which is the housing loan, the personal loan, and the car loan, which is the 3 products we are giving out to the civil servants, those that have met the requirements. But like PS has already said, we've started receiving applications since the 4th of July. And I am the director for the unit which is responsible, which serves as the secretariat for the scheme. And we've received over 100 applications, out of which less than 50% have met the requirements. So looking at that, we realize that it is really important for us to go out and further sensitize the civil servants on some of the requirements, because we think that is where the problem is. And then, before, like any other application form, we have rules that has to be followed in order to be able to meet all these requirements, which first starts at purchasing the form at PMO, where it is available. When it is purchased, we will expect you to fill all the relevant, section of the form where you are supposed to fill, and then attach all the relevant documents which are supposed to be attached. For each form, we have, requirements which I will, dilate on later. And then once you've completed the form and then, attach all the relevant documents on it, we wouldn't expect you to send it like that. It has to be forwarded to PMO officially. That is, it has to be come up with a letter with the letterhead of your institution, so that this is key for one thing, which is it will help us to refer to letters to the application, especially when we have queries of not, application not being processed or whatever. If it's sent officially, it gets to the records in our system, in the record system, and then it is very easy for us to refer to that, letter and then trace the particular, application form. So that's why we want them to come officially. That is one major requirement we also look for, for. And once it is forwarded, before forwarding it also, we have requirements for each category. For the personal loan, we will expect you, the documents you are supposed to attach as follows. For the personal loan, we will expect you to attach your most recent pay slip. It has to be attached. A copy of your confirmation letter has to be attached. A copy of your appointment or promotion, most recent promotion letter should be attached. A copy of your most recent current account statement. Current account statement should also be attached to your application. And this also applies to your guarantors. Because if you're applying for a personal loan, you will need 2 guarantors who are from grade 5 and above. So for these 2 guarantors, you also need to give us details of your guarantors. Their most recent pay slip, their most recent current account, their confirmation letter, and so forth. The reason why we are asking for this is because we don't know, we at the Secretariat don't know any of you. You are applying. It is your documents that tells us, whether you are qualified for whatever loan you are applying for. So if any of this document is missing, we have a problem of processing it. So that is the reason why we ask for these supporting documents to all of them to be available. If you ask whatever document we ask for, it has to be attached. If any of them is missing, we cannot process it, because it means that one key information is missing, which might qualify you for the loan or might disqualify you for the loan. So these are the requirements we look for a personal loan. For a housing, apart from the confirmation letter, the appointment letter, the current account, your pay slip, you need to provide an invoice, a pro forma invoice of whatever car you intend to purchase. we want to have a copy of that attached to alongside those other documents. And then for the housing, for the car loan, you will need one guarantor who is from grade 9 upwards if he or she is a civil servant. If he or she is not a civil servant, it's a private individual, you can get guarantors from outside the general public, but he or she has to provide something that would convince us that he or she can qualifies to be your guarantor. And in this case, it has to be a title deed or something valuable which we can rely on, in case you default us, So these are some of the things we will look for, watch out for a car loan. Then for a housing, you don't need any guarantor. It's you that is, want to, obviously you have a plot of land you intend to, where you intend to erect a house or, maintenance or whatever. So it's on mortgage. So here, the most critical document here, apart from your confirmation or whatever, those small, the ones I've already mentioned, documents, confirmation, pay slip, and so whatever, you need to provide a title deed. For housing, title deeds is critical. Without a title deed, we cannot process your application. And when we say title deed, we mean title deed, not a transfer of ownership certificate. We don't want that. We want a title deed.
Lease document.
A lease document. That is what is used, that is what is needed for all these three categories. So far, basically, these are some of the requirements we have. And then as
your mic.
These are some of the requirements, things which are very critical if you are to apply for a loan. Obviously, we know that this loan is limited to the civil servant, and then those that are on the permanent and pensionable, establishment. If you are on contract, you are not entitled to this loan, and if you are on wages also, it's only those on the permanent and pensionable, establishment that are entitled for these loans. And if you are a guarantor, we will expect, and a civil servant, you will have to be confirmed, and then must have served 3 years in service before you also qualify to be a guarantor to someone. I think basically these are some of the. I will stop here, and then maybe when we have a question, then we are for the dialect.
You talked about for housing. You talked about title deed.
Housing
can be the same house that you intend to build, or it can be any other.
It could be, if you don't have yours, if someone is willing to, you can provide another one. At least we will. What the key thing is here, whatever title deed you are providing, should be able to, should be able to guarantee the loan you are taking. That also should be established. And then we have the valuer here who should be able to help out, work out that as a board member.
Thank you so very much, Madam Aminjai. Well, viewers, we remind you that you're still watching the National Bantaba Forum, and in this particular edition, we have the public, the Personnel Management Office with us here, discussing specifically about the civil service revolving loan scheme. They have $25 million in their budget. Loan to be given to civil servants. Loan is really nice. I'm sure we will later talk about repayment, because it's another thing in order to sustain this wonderful initiative. Now what we do is we'll just allow our panelists to just rest a little bit while, and then we allow the floor to also come up with their contributions or questions, suggestions, whatever. So you are now free, you're free to participate. Board members and any other person, can we? You have a mic there? Yes. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Tijan, and Honorable Njai and Mr. Fadera and the whole guests here present. Now, this revolving loan scheme is of paramount importance. It's an incentive to keep civil servants on the job. As we know, there is a high attrition rate between the civil service and the private sector. There's no point training somebody with taxpayers' money only for the person to drift and go away for so-called greener pastures. It's not fair on the taxpayer, not fair on the government, not fair to anybody. Well, when you talk about democracy, democracy is defined by Abraham Lincoln as government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And this is a very democratic